This is an iron. I am a man. Debatable. This is the Iron Man recipe. I don't know why I feel like ironing the spinach and kale, but instead I think it's more apt if I juice them, and indeed for good reason. This is to get good quality iron in your body, one of the finest minerals on planet Earth. It's not to compete in an Iron Man triathlon, although you could, because we've got beetroot in there as well, and that's used to widen the blood vessels, oxygen intake is more, so actually as a sports recipe, it's quite good as well. Why have we got these ingredients? Because as you're guessing, virtually all of them are rich in iron, and the one that isn't is there for a very good reason that I'll come on to in a second. So you need like a handful of kale, a handful of spinach, broccoli, about 3 centimeters, 1 inch. Then we've got, of course, the Iron King. This is raw beetroot, must be raw, and I've gone for a whole bulb of that. Apple to taste. This is the reason why we have apple in there as well. Soluble fiber, pectin, which is what we're going to require for any juice recipe. You're going to need half a green bell pepper, and you're going to love me and hate me at the same time for putting this in. If you've ever had bell pepper juice, the chances are you never revisited bell pepper juice ever again, because I'm trying to think of another word for sucks. I can't think of one. It sucks. It's really not very nice at all. But it's here for a very good reason when it comes to the Iron Man juice, because vitamin C is important in helping iron absorption, which is why we're adding this in. You've got a kind of little kicker if you want it. Now again, you can make the Iron Man without the wheatgrass. The wheatgrass is a chaser, but really, wheatgrass here, freshly extracted wheatgrass, it's so rich in iron, it's so rich in virtually every mineral anyway, but particularly high in iron. And again, we've got some vitamin C in the form of orange, so when we down that as a chaser, we bite into it, but I'll be doing that at the end of making the recipe. You don't need your juicer for this one, that's all we require. Here's what I always do though, I would have an apple in first. Now I'm gonna put the drip stop down, because that's how this particular juicer was designed to extract juice from fruits and vegetables. So I'm gonna put the kale in next, then I'm gonna sandwich in the spinach afterwards. Now again, if you've got a fast juicer, that's a centrifugal, the juicer would be off at this point. You would put the apple in and you would cram in those ingredients, including the broccoli as well, and maybe the bell pepper, and then put the apple on top of those items and then pack it in tight, because the harder it is, the more juice you're gonna get. I'm gonna add the green pepper in now behind it. Then I'm just gonna open that up. I'm gonna add the beetroot next actually, because I wanna feed the apple last. Raw beetroot going in, and then we're gonna get a whole apple, put that in. So we just allow that to do its thing. And if you're watching this, you suffer from anemia, of course, always check with your GP. I'm not a doctor or anything else like that. Now you can just see the colors from nature, but you'll see them even more as I pour this into a glass. I'm gonna add a little bit of ice, but look how rich that is. By itself, like I said, it works wonderfully, but look at that, I love the colors that you get from nature. And hopefully the camera above me is picking this up, and I hope it is, because the colors that you get on the top of it. Have a nice taste of this. Oh, it's delicious. Any fears about that bell pepper coming through have been put aside because of the apple, and also the sweetness of the beetroot as well. Oh, whenever it actually tastes beautiful, and it's going to cool down with that ice. Now, what I would ordinarily do, drink all of this, add wheatgrass here, freshly extracted wheatgrass. Now, I've actually used, because we had no fresh wheatgrass here, I've used the powder, and I've just put the powder in, added a little bit of apple juice, then mixed it up, and normally this is how you do a wheatgrass shot, you down it in one, and you bite the orange. I don't know why I always want to do this. I don't think I'm a kid again. I used to do that as a kid, half time at football, and everybody was, anyway, I don't know, I've gone off to a tangent. But again, one, for the flavor, but secondly, the vitamin C helps to absorb the iron into the bloodstream. Now, I've managed to make the whole Iron Man recipe without saying not just any old iron, but obviously I've done that now because I had a bet on whether I could do it or not. But clearly, I failed miserably. That's Iron Man, part of the Funky Fresh Juice book. Tastes gorgeous by itself, and it comes as no surprise. It is very rich, of course, in iron. Iron Man. Cheers.